Hi USY Facts fans, I'm Will Lamon, Metni USYer and founder of USY Facts, and I'm very excited to introduce Seaboard 2011-2012 Regional Israeli Affairs Vice President and 2012 International Israel Affairs Vice President Ryan Sherman. Thanks again for taking the time, Ryan, to do this interview.
Hey Will, no problem. I'm really excited. You probably know most of these things since we went on pilgrimage together, but I'm really excited to share these things with International USY.
And so am I. So let's begin. When did you start USY?
So my first event would really be the Regional Kings Dominion Day and my chapter ski trip. But my first convention was my freshman fall.
So did you ever imagine being where you are now in the organization?
Not at all. I always saw myself as someone that was just, going with the flow, seeing what was going on. I never saw myself being up in front of people talking. I was that little nervous freshman. I could not have imagined it.
So who influenced you to become a leader in USY?
Well, at my freshman fall convention, my first program was Icebreakers, and the leader, Ben Greenberg, who was our regional rel at the time, it was just so cool seeing a teenager leading a program that I saw that he and the other tri-chairs made, and I knew that I wanted to be able to, have some kind of impact like he did in like another freshman, just like he did on me. And then the encouragement from my chapter IA, Allie Griff, and from my regional IA, Sarah Hoffman.
So what was the first event you can remember going to?
It's still the Kings Dominion Day in 7th grade, but my real first event that then kept me coming back to USY, which then actually encouraged me then to go to fall convention, was a limo scavenger hunt at the beginning of 9th grade, where one of my friends from school just was like, "Hey Ryan, let's just go. You'll have fun." And my parents were going out of town the weekend of fall, so I needed to find a place to go anyways. So with meeting all the people that were at the limo scavenger hunt, they're like, "Oh yeah, it'd be tons of fun." So it was that actually then encouraged me to then continue coming back to USY events.
So I guess the real question is, why Israel Affairs?
I love Israel. I want to help others establish their own connection with Israel. Anything about Israel, I find it interesting. And once I left the Jewish day school, I didn't really have that constant connection to Judaism and Israel as I did daily at my old school. And so originally this was a cultural connection that I just found to be extremely strong with me, and then my relationship with Judaism progressively grew as well.
I think to just deviate a little bit from the questions here, I just remember one of the first conversations I had with you was on the bus on pilgrimage, and I just remember you pulling out all these different papers of different locations to go to and all these food locations, and I just remember you were just so on the ball with everything Israel, and I just was immediately impressed with that so much. And you ended up finding some of these most awesome places to go that I ended up being some of my favorite locations in Israel. So I commend you on that.
The falafel list.
Yes, definitely. There's some good falafel places that we went to on that. So guys, International USY, if you need a place to go in Israel for falafel, Ryan's your guy. So back to the questions. What was it like being regional IA?
Well, it's really cool writing programs for an entire convention and seeing them come to life after all that hard work. So you're able to then just, I wouldn't say kick back and relax, because you still want to be a part of the program, but it's a really, really incredible experience seeing hard work that you put in the regional office, or just on my couch downstairs, writing up a program, discussing them on Skype with friends like you, and going over them over the summer, and especially seeing my encampment program or fall convention program, just seeing then USYers enjoying the program is it's a ton of fun.
What do you love about Seaboard?
So, Seaboard's geographically, it's a really large region. it goes from Maryland all the way, like we have all of Virginia, and then we also have top of North Carolina. And so even though the kids in North Carolina live so far away and we all are just so spread out, the closeness that I feel to all my friends across the region is incredible. Also, being on board this year with two of my very first friends from USY, who I met at that King's Dominion Day, is just such a cool experience.
What do you think it takes to be a regional IA?
Excitement and passion. I think those two words just sum it up.
So what would you recommend to people who are running for the position?
I'd say be passionate, like make sure you're passionate about it and know that you're running for the position and not for the election. Make sure like that you're dedicated and that you're not running, so that someone else can't. You don't want to run because you think that you would do a better job than someone else. You want to run because you want to do it and that you can do the best job.
So when did you consider running for international board?
After working on IGB with Sarah Hoffman, one of my best friends, by the way, and seeing the amazing things that she did inspired me to want to have a lasting impact like her internationally. So it was a culmination of my time on IGB.
So what was it like being on IGB in 2011?
Well, being on IGB was an extremely cool experience. I got to work closely with Toby Rosenzweig and Jessica Schwartz, both of whom live on the opposite side of the country from me. But I was talking to them all the time, and I got to work behind the scenes on all sorts of Israel programs that make their way to regional IAs and eventually to chapter IAs, which will hopefully make things easier and more accessible for them. And so just the behind the scenes work has been really, really cool.
So were you nervous about the international election?
I was leading up to it, but once the president's speeches were done, my nervousness was taken over by excitement. When I was giving my speech, it was just the most exciting thing I've ever done. Speaking in front of international USY, tons of people there. It was just, I could feel the energy in the room. And when I got a little nervous, I looked around the room and could see friends all over the room. So it was, my nervousness was, exactly. My nervousness just vanished because I looked around and I saw, besides people I know, just people were interested in hearing, the speeches. So I felt as though I was just speaking to a whole bunch of friends.
How'd you feel when they called your name for international IA?
I was definitely overwhelmed. When DJ called my name, it's tough competition. But when he called my name though, the excitement was just incredible. My region was just screaming for me, and I felt as though the cheers from my region as well as the rest of USY carried me back up onto the dais to DJ. Especially the blaring of the noises in my ears, and I couldn't really tell what was going on. It was exciting.
To everyone who didn't understand that little joke that Ryan made before, he ran unopposed, so that's why he said it was tough competition. But what will be the toughest aspect of being regional and international IA?
I think just balancing the workload and managing my time the best I can between the two positions, and then obviously schoolwork. And I definitely would love some time to just, relax and hang out, which of course I'll be able to do with my master time management skills in development.
So what do you feel it takes to be a good leader?
The ability to connect with others while still being the role model and held to a higher standard. So knowing that you, as a leader, are being watched by people, but not allowing that to affect the way you're interacting with people.
So what's one quality you think is important for a leadership role?
definitely being down to earth and just, not being, too big to talk to just, anyone at convention, that, not sticking to, your group of friends, making sure that you connect to everyone.
What are some of the perks of being on international board?
The once of a lifetime experience of staying at the Guten's home in Teaneck, New Jersey. I got to bake challah with Yehudis and the international board. It was amazing. Mine was the best. I also want to show this. I'm going to show like something that was passed down to me as regional IA when I became regional IA, and then something that was passed down to me when I became international IA. So, it was a couple weeks later. Sarah lived far away, Baltimore. It's a long way away from DC. So this is what I eventually got passed down to me as regional IA. It's very large and bulky. It is a gigantic box that says Israel on it, full of a whole bunch of Israel goodies and things that I could probably find on the USY website. And then, for something that was passed down to me for international, they consolidated. And now it's in that box on here. So no need. I don't need the internet. It's okay. We got it here.
What is your favorite aspect of USY?
The amazing community that it facilitates and creates, especially how USY makes it possible to shrink the country and Canada to the point where I feel as though I'm always connected with my friends in other regions. And I mean, it's great. I wake up in the morning and no, I don't feel like P. Diddy. Don't worry. I wake up in the morning and I see texts or I'm just texting, people from Far West or from New Frontier or Pinwheel, and it's just that's the other side of the country. Yet I feel as though I could be seeing them at lunch. I'm not seeing them at lunch, so it's a little disappointing when I get there. But the shrinking of the continent really is just such a cool thing.
If you could describe USY in one sentence, what would you say?
A home away from home. That definitely sums it up.
What are your goals for the organization for this year?
I want to bring Israel into everyone's lives so that every USYer finds and establishes their own personal connection to Israel. I don't like people throwing information at me or saying, you must love Israel. Of course I think everyone should love Israel, but I want everyone to find their own path to loving Israel, just as I did. And, I'd be very happy if everyone loved Israel. So that's my goal.
Looking back, when your time in USY is over, what will be one thing you enjoyed the most of everything you have done in USY?
The most? Well, I still have one more year left in USY, so I'm looking forward to making even more memories. I don't want to cut it short yet.
So now some fun questions, getting to know you, the international IA, a little better. Favorite food?
Sushi all the way. But around here, sushi places close from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's ridiculous.
So what kind of music do you like?
I really like all kinds of music. As you can see from my random posts on Facebook, definitely range from all different genres. But my all-time favorite kind of music would be hard rock and heavy metal. My very first concert was Metallica when I was 10 years old with my dad, and it's just exciting, and those are the kind of shows that I love going to.
What are your hobbies? What are your hobbies when you aren't swamped in USY and schoolwork?
Schoolwork's the most. Well, I spend most of my free time then playing guitar and skating. Those are two things that I find to really relax me in their outlets, and two things that I could do alone or with friends. So it could be reflection time, just being outside or sitting downstairs playing guitar, or it could be collaboration and hanging out time.
What kind of movies do you like? Comedy, horror, etc.? What type of genre and movies?
I would have to say comedy, but not the silly, dumb kind of comedy. Because I do enjoy the occasional action film, but I don't really like seeing just a bunch of explosions. So if something gets me to laugh, I definitely think it's worth the money of going to see the movie.
So what's one thing you wish you could cross off your bucket list?
I have to say that I would like to travel to Japan. Did you know that in the north there are hot springs and monkeys swim with the people because they realized it's pretty darn cold?
That's awesome.
That's what I want to do.
Where do you want to travel? I mean, other than Japan?
So I'd love to travel all over. I think it's just really interesting seeing all different cultures interacting with different people that you may never meet. And obviously I want to go back to Israel as soon as I can. But I also want to go back to other parts of Asia. I went to China in 2009, and I'd love to go back, as well as Japan and the hot springs and the monkeys. And I also would really like to go to different places in Europe.
So who inspires you?
My family and my friends. They're the ones that are constantly encouraging me and always have my back and are always there when I need them.
Well, thanks again for taking the time out of your busy schedule. This was great, and I'm so proud of you, Ryan. It's crazy that when we went on pilgrimage together, we would end up at this point. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, I remember the very first time we roomed together in Jerusalem. We started the trip together and ended the trip together. And I think that our close friendship made this interview extremely easy and comfortable. Thank you so much for the opportunity.